We're back. The best of food and wine with Anthony Gismondi and Kasey Wilson, live from the Wines of Canada stage at the 2017 Vancouver International Wine Festival. Now, here's Tony and Kasey.
Welcome back to the best of food and wine. I'm Tony Gismondi.
I'm Kasey Wilson.
We're broadcasting live from the floor of the Wine Festival, of course, on CISL 650, as we always do. We're just on we have a few different times because we've been on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night this week covering the Wine Festival, meeting really a cavalcade of stars, people making wine around the world. People with a lot of opinions, ideas, and they're all different. We love it. Our next guest comes from Geyser Peak Winery. She's the winemaker Ondine Chattan. Ondine, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I'm delighted
welcome
to be
to
here.
Vancouver.
Thank you.
You brought the sunshine?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah. You've had a bit of rain, which I think has been a good thing for California.
We have finally. Actually, in the wine industry, we were starting to get worried about salinity issues, and now that complete concern is gone now.
Which is a saltiness in the vineyard soils
the soil,
and that?
That manifests itself as sort of a savory flavor in the grapes and not in necessarily a desirable way.
Yeah.
So
a lot of
when
water.
it rains,
it'll leach it down, and it will also
fantastic.
replenish the groundwater. That's one of our biggest concerns, is that the groundwater has just been depleted over the last many years.
Yeah.
But this should be brilliant for all of that, although a lot of it is running off because it came down so fast and furious.
Oh, well, eventually it catches up, and it's not over yet, probably.
No, it was raining
Still
this week.
early.
Actually, you're joking about me bringing the sunshine. I sent the rain down there.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, we've had enough rain and snow here for a while. We're happy with a bit of sunshine.
Geyser Peak, one of the most historic wine brands.
Yes, we are. We were founded in 1880, so we've been around for a very long time. We're one of a handful of what we call heritage Sonoma wineries, and those are wineries that have been in continuous operation, some since the 1850s. We came on board in 1880 and have been operating ever since.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of wonderful to be one of the original, or be part of one of the original founders of the region. There's just such a rich history, and the evolution of the industry has been phenomenal over the last many years.
So how old are the vines, and have some been pulled out, and how does that work from when you go back that far?
So we don't have anything that dates back to the 1800s any longer. We do have a bit of Zinfandel that's over 100 years old, but it would still be early 1900s.
Wow.
I think the oldest vineyards still in California are the Grand Mère, Grand Père vineyards in the foothills. And I'm not sure who owns them right now, but they're very, very old Zin vines that are, I think they're Civil War vines.
We were talking about that. I was in a seminar earlier today where we were mentioning that you can go and plant vines everywhere, but if you go into a region and look where the oldest vines are, it's probably a really good sign that that's a spot to grow vines.
It is a good sign. One of the disappointments of old vines, of course, is the yield starts to decrease over time. So at a certain point, the economic advantage, it becomes more of a romance to keep them in the ground.
So they're usually pulled out.
Often pulled out to replant just to make it economical for the grower.
Yes.
And some of the oldest vines have a lot of great inherent resistance. So resistance to soil pests like nematodes and things like that.
Yeah. I feel like we should protect them, but I don't know. I guess if you don't get much from them. But what you get is pretty good, I think.
I think what a lot of people have done with old vines is they keep sort of an old vine belt around a property. So it's more symbolic. And so there might not be a lot of acreage, but there's still the heritage there.
Okay, Ondine, you've been at Geyser Peak now about 14, 15 years?
I just had my 18th vintage.
18th?
Yes, 18
Wow,
vintages.
I'm behind. So tell us about it. You've been there now long enough. You're in charge. What is Geyser Peak?
Geyser Peak's obviously a huge part of my life. It's been an enormous part of my identity, but it has been such an honor to be entrusted with this brand. So because it is an historic brand, but also the style of wine that we have, I'm so proud of this, that we are able to offer a very authentic product at a fabulous price. So we're not completely price driven. We do have some higher end, very expensive wines, but one of the validations of being a winemaker is getting your product consumed, getting it out to a wide audience. Mm-hmm. And Geyser Peak, really, we do a fantastic job of that, of offering a fabulous style and quality of wine.
And the winery is in Northern California, in the Alexander Valley?
We're in the town of Healdsburg, so literally right outside town.
Yeah, okay. So today you brought two wines. We're going to start with a Sauvignon Blanc. A lot of people talk badly about Sauvignon Blanc in North America. What's going on with that? I'm a big Sauvignon Blanc fan, and I'm not sure. Is it easy to sell, hard to sell, or?
Well, I would say it's easy. It's our largest production wine, so we do have a fabulous reputation for Sauvignon Blanc. I like to say it's sunshine in a glass or springtime in a glass.
Yeah.
But to address your point directly about being down on it, I think it's because in California in general, we tend to have what I call a 1 foot in each hemisphere. We have some of the little grassiness and brightness that you see out of, say, New Zealand, and some of the more citrus characters you'd find in the Loire and Sancerre. But then what we don't usually have is that over-the-top intensity. So I think we get great aromatics, wonderful balance, but it's not, generally speaking, a wine that clobbers you over the head with that intensity. I know New Zealand's a darling right now, and those are amazing, incredible wines, and we're learning a lot about those aromatics, those volatile thiols.
Yeah.
But what I do think is so beautiful about California style, and our style in particular, is that all those components are there in the glass. So you'll get a little whiff of lemongrass or something herbaceous like a green fig, but behind that there are beautiful layers of ripe passion fruit, a little bit of lemon, more like a sweet Meyer lemon, some tangerine, and then melon as well.
Yeah.
It's sort of fleshy component.
It's a great sipping wine, this wine.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm guessing that you sort of crafted this wine because it has a California appellation.
Yes.
So the fruit is, you're picking different kinds of fruit, or what's the concept?
Multiple regions. So the idea is to highlight all those different characteristics that I just mentioned are more distinctive each from one particular region. So out of Sonoma, we will get some of the more citrus-driven elements. If we go north into Mendocino County, we can get some of the more herbaceous characters. If we go into the Russian River specifically in Sonoma County, we will get those beautiful bright green sort of mint and basil notes. Solano, which is just to the east of Napa, brings out the melon character. And so you have all these wonderful blending components from the different regions. Unfortunately, you put those great regions together, and the common denominator is the California appellation.
That's okay. Wine's delicious.
Thank you.
Under screw cap as well, which is nice. We like that.
I love screw cap. The convenience factor, but also the freshness.
Yeah.
It's all about, I like to leave a little bit of an elevated carbon dioxide, so CO2, in the wine. That helps me keep a lower sulfur level, but also keeps the wine very bright and aromatic. And the screw cap is excellent for maintaining that at the level that we bottle it at, whereas with a cork, there's a little bit more of that dissipates.
Do you have a favorite seafood?
Oh, I think
that you would choose?
I love it with scallops. I think it's wonderful, the brininess of the scallop, and then playing up with some of the fruity characters and the acidity. It's a lovely combination.
Even oysters here, we have so many different varieties in BC. Yeah. Well, maybe not varieties, but types from different beaches. Big with that salinity. I think it's a great match.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very nice, very clean. We tasted the 2015 Geyser Peak Sauvignon Blanc, and it's available for $16, which is chump change in the wine business these days, so that's fantastic.
Isn't it?
Consumers would love that. I know a little bit about tectonics. You named a wine using the word tectonic. What's happening here?
So this is a story I absolutely love, and I'm very closely tied to this because I was creating different wine styles, and I should go back a step. The first one we tasted is from what we call our core range, and then this goes into the appellation tier. So now we're focusing on the Alexander Valley. And whereas I was talking about all those different components going into the Sauvignon Blanc, when it comes to tectonic, we're talking about a very focused region. The Alexander Valley, but even more so than that, the eastern side of the Alexander Valley, which is right beneath Geyser Peak Mountain, for which we're named, and that is the world's largest geothermal area. So it is full of these wonderful, they're fumaroles, they're steam geysers that are blowing extremely hot air, steam up out of the ground. They're volcanic in origin, and so they've created these amazing soils on the eastern side of the Alexander Valley that are volcanic influenced and create really interesting mineral streaks throughout the soil. So we have all these excellent vineyard sources tucked up in the hills and the geysers, and they each bring a very distinct character to the fruit. So because of all that geothermal activity, we have little teeny tiny earthquakes all day, every day in the region.
Wow.
It's not really enough to feel, but it's enough to keep the pictures on your wall crooked, to have items will move around the table, but you don't see it happening. So tectonic, to me, was a perfect name for this wine. I did get to name it myself because it shows that the earth is alive. This is earth in upheaval. This is actual, really true evolution of the soil, and that's why we grow grapes there and why it's such a great place to cultivate and to be a viticulturist and a winemaker. So tectonic is a red blend. It's based on Cabernet with Petit Verdot and a little splash of Petit Syrah. So it doesn't fall into any traditional category. It's not a meritage. It defaults to red blend. But the idea here is to really celebrate that eastern side of the Alexander Valley, which is much more focused than Other wines from the Alexander Valley, particularly the valley floor and the western side, tend to be very luscious, very voluptuous in style, where this one is about restraint, elegance, refinement. And that's where Petit Verdot really comes into it. Cabernet can be a monster. It can be quite aggressive. Petit Verdot has this fabulous shot of tannin that goes right down the middle of the wine. And then
savory.
It is savory.
Beautiful. I taste
that.
duck. I mean, I want this with duck.
Awesome. I wish we had some to share with you.
Yes.
So it's a good, fun wine, and it really tells the story and the heritage of that region.
And Tectonic is, how many times have you made this wine now?
2011 was the first vintage.
Okay,
so this is only the second vintage.
And you're talking about the eastern side of Alexander Valley. Obviously, is this the sort of almost unfogged touched area, or the warmest part of that valley?
So it is warm, but interestingly, when you say that, it has the least direct sunlight because the sun is rising from the east behind the mountain.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't actually get direct sunlight until the afternoon when the sun's moving across the sky. So we actually have a later ripening up there than we do on the western side that gets all the direct sunlight.
Place is important
Place
when it
is
comes
important.
to wine.
It's at least distinct. There's very much a sense of place, a sense of character.
Yeah. Ondine, two terrific wines. By the way, the Tectonic 2012 red wine blend is $33 in the Vancouver market. I'm assuming it's in private wine shops and restaurants.
Yes.
And maybe someday it'll be even in government stores. Who
That
knows?
would be beautiful.
Wouldn't
We'll
that
see.
be great? Have a great time in Vancouver.
Thank you.
Don't work too much. And get out and try some of the restaurants and check out the seafood.
I'm looking forward to that. And sushi has been catching my eye.
Okay.
Yes, and
wow.
I can give you the name of two
We can give you
fabulous
a whole bunch
places.
of places. Yeah.
I'll hit you
Thanks
up for
so
that.
much.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Ondine Chattan, she's the winemaker at Geyser Peak Winery and has been now for 18 years. That's like a long time. That is fantastic.
And she looks 25.
You're listening to the Best of Food and Wine. We're on CISL 650. I'm Tony Gismondi.
I'm Kasey Wilson.
And we're live from the floor of the Vancouver International Wine Festival. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back with more on Guess What? Wine.
This is the Best of Food and Wine Show, broadcasting live from the Vancouver International Wine Festival, where you can enter to win a deluxe 2-night stay at the Painted Boat Resort Spa and Marina on the Sunshine Coast. Visit paintedboat.com.